My name is Tash and welcome back to my channel, Happy Artist. You'll see today I feel a little bit like a crazy scientist because we're going to do a bit of an experiment today. I'm also going to show you the science behind how cells are created. And as you can see, I'm never going to pass up the opportunity to do a bit of a dress up. So to explain the cell generation a little bit clearly, I'm going to use an example of water and oil. What happens when you mix oil into water? Now, usually this is something that we are taught in school, and we all pretty much know what's going to happen, right? The water is denser than the oil, so no matter how much oil you mix in, the particles are always going to lift to the top. If you were to take something that you can mix with, if you mix the oil in very slowly, and once or twice, you break up the oil very slightly, but it still rises to the top. If you mix vigorously, you break up the oil quite a lot into small, tiny little particles. But at the end of the day, once it has rested, it's always going to come back up to the top. This is exactly how cells are created in acrylic pouring. Your acrylic paint is your water-based product. And you're going to then use an oil-based product to create the cells. Now, this is where I need to warn you. Not all oil-based products can be used in acrylic pouring. For instance, cooking oil, sunflower oil, olive oil, I haven't seen any of these mentioned in any other products yet. Some of the reasons for this is firstly smells and how it might affect your skin when using them. One of the most important things obviously is how it's going to affect your painting. Some of these have got their own colors and pigments themselves, so it can change the colors that you are painting with, and also over time could deteriorate your painting. So try and stick to ones that you've either heard of using before or something you can buy at a store. Now I'm going to need you to use your imagination here. Imagine this is the cup that you've poured your colors into layers. If you've mixed in whatever it is you're using to create the cells and your colors vigorously, you'll have a lot of small little silicone dots like this. However, if you have mixed it in slowly and only once or twice, the dots are going to be a lot larger. And now I'm going to stretch that imagination just a little bit further. Imagine you've now poured this 1 cup onto your canvas. From the top, you will see different layers mixing into each other. If you were to cut your canvas in half, this is more or less what it would look like, where you can actually see the different colors layer over each other. So this is where you will see that the silicone is going to be sitting in the different colors as shown over here. The little silicone dots, as explained, are going to push to the top because they are lighter than the water-based paint that you're using. And as they do this, they take pigment along with it. So as you'll see in an example over here, the silicone is going to take a bit of the yellow pigment along with it as it rises to the surface because it's lighter than the water-based paint that you're using. In another case, and this is really cool when it happens, you're going to create a bullseye cell. This is where the silicone that's within the yellow paint layer at the moment still needs to rise to the surface, going through the red and ending at the top. So it's going to take a little bit of the yellow pigment, but it takes a little bit of the red pigment as well, therefore creating a red cell within a yellow cell within the red top layer. How cool is that? So this is where my crazy scientist comes out. I'm going to experiment with these different 4 cell activators and see which ones work. So far we've all heard of a silicone type option that you can buy at a store. This is the one that I specifically bought from the stores here in South Africa. I also found a video that mentions that most hair products have an ingredient called dimethicone, and that seems to really work with the cells. So I've actually been using this quite a lot. Then, oh, that's going to drop. Then, just out of interest, I'm going to try baby oil and coconut oil. Again, mostly just because both of these are easy on the skin and won't necessarily have horrible smells. I'm not sure what's going to be the end product of these two. It is quite cold here today though, so as you'll see, the little bit of coconut oil that I've already prepared for myself has hardened. This does make me a little bit worried of how it's going to look on my product when it's finished. maybe it hasn't been noticed before, because I have heard it being mentioned in videos, that in warmer temperatures you wouldn't have noticed that it actually hardens like this. But in our sorts of areas it does, so this might not be the best product to use.
This is a reused canvas. I just painted 2 coats of primer over the last painting and let it dry.
Right, so now we are ready for our experiment. As you can see, I have just poured a base color of just a plain titanium white for now. This doesn't have any cell activator oils or anything in it. Our first one we're going to try is the store-bought silicone. Now, because this one doesn't have a little spray bottle or anything, I use a little pipette, and I'm only going to be putting 2 drops in each of the colors. There we go. Then I've got the hair product that I use. This does have a little bit of a pump action. It's not exact though, so you've got to be quite careful. I literally try and do 1, 2, 3 drops, because it does have a whole bunch of other ingredients in it. 2, 3, a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Then the baby oil. I've never tried this before, so let's have a look, see how easy this is to pour. 1, 2, 3. Let's give it a little more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then my coconut oil, I had to warm it up again in some hot water. As you can see, dry it up. It's now a little better. Great, that looks like it's got coconut oil in it. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 drops. 1, 2, 3 drops. Alrighty. Let's mix those up now. So as you'll see, I reuse these sticks. As long as the paint is dry, there really is no issue to it. So I'm just going to mix up each of them quickly.
So, to create cells, I wasn't necessarily going for the most cost-effective option here. So that you'll see I haven't exactly said what the different costs are with these products, although they are relatively similar. What I was more going for was something that was going to give me the explosion of cells that I've seen on other videos on YouTube before. As you'll see, I've used a dirty pour technique in this particular one, but there are other techniques you can use to create cells, so watch out for one of my next videos.
Before I let it dry, I thought I'd give you a bit of a close-up. This is the store-bought silicone. Not much going on. This is my hair product. Look at how these cells are creating. All by themselves. I'm not using any heat, as you've obviously seen already. There's nothing else going on. This is literally just its own chemical reaction. Then over here we have the baby oil that I used. It's got a quite nice, almost rose sort of texture to it over there. But these seem to be the only cells that really have created, nothing more. There might be a few over here that would actually pop up a little bit later in generation, as you can see, but I'm not 100% sure. And then last but not least, the coconut oil. And that awesome little bullseye that's creating. So yeah, we'll see how these dry.
How amazing is it to see how the hair product that I've used is literally exploding into cells when you can see it this way. For those of you who are also using some sort of different product to create cells, what are you guys using? I'm almost finished with my hair care product, so I'm going to need to buy something else, and I'd love to test what you're using. Please let me know in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that it's helped you to understand how cells are created, and please don't forget to click the subscribe button. I hope you have a wonderful day. Ciao for now. If you mix... So how... The yellow pigment will come with the silicone, or whatever you're using, through the black. Not through the black. If you've mixed in your cell creation, it would be a...